In July 2026, Harry returned to British soil for what was supposed to be a simple celebration, 1 year until his Invictus Games come home to Birmingham. But behind the medals and the handshakes, something else was happening. A prince, estranged from his father and brother for years, quietly working every angle to get back in the room. By the end of this story, you'll know exactly how close he came and exactly what stood in his way. 6 years ago, Harry walked away. He and Meghan packed up their titles, their royal duties, and their British life, and moved to North America chasing independence. At the time, it looked like a clean break, a door closing on his own terms. But clean breaks are rare in royal families. Behind closed doors, Harry has spent years describing something very different. Not freedom, but loss. "I would love reconciliation with my family," Harry told the BBC. "There's no point in continuing to fight anymore." And then, the line that stopped royal watchers cold. "I don't know how much longer my father has." As July's UK visit approached, everything Harry touched turned into a battleground. First came the accommodation question. Buckingham Palace reportedly floated, then quietly withdrew an offer to host him, a small gesture that turned into a very public embarrassment. Then came the bigger fight, security. A government body called RAVEC, the group that decides who gets state-funded protection, had already rejected Harry's request once before. Word came that they'd rejected him again. For Harry, this wasn't paperwork. This was personal. He has argued for years that his family remains a target simply because of who they are, and that leaving royal duties shouldn't erase that danger. British officials disagree. To them, once you step back from royal life, you're assessed like anyone else. With the security ruling hanging in the air, plans for the trip began to wobble in real time. Reports suggested Meghan and the children, 7-year-old Archie and 5-year-old Lilibet, might not make the trip at all. And for a family already fighting to be believed, that possibility looked like proof of everything Harry had been warning about. Then came a second blow. In the middle of this same visit, Harry lost a high court privacy case against a British tabloid publisher, a legal fight he'd poured years and enormous resources into. 2 defeats, back-to-back, a security system that wouldn't bend, a courtroom that wouldn't side with him. Commentators openly debated Harry's motives. Some called the whole visit calculated, a bid to rebuild his image after years of bad headlines. One broadcaster went so far as to call the possible family visit an act of desperation. Online, the reaction split hard down the middle. Some royal watchers were thrilled to see Harry back on home soil. Others accused him of trying to have it both ways, walking away from royal duty, then wanting the warmth of the family without the responsibility. Royal commentators pointed to something else entirely. Faye. With the fallout from Prince Andrew's scandal still hanging over the monarchy, insiders suggested the royal household was nervous about being seen funding protection for the Sussexes at all, worried about how it would look to a public already exhausted by royal headlines. Despite the setbacks, despite the denied protection, despite the lost court case, Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet showed up at Highgrove House, King Charles's Gloucestershire residence, for a private family visit. It was the first time Archie and Lilibet had seen their grandfather since the late Queen's Platinum Jubilee, back in 2022. Back then, Archie was 3 years old. Lilibet was barely 1. They may not have remembered a single moment of it. While Harry was mending things with his father, his brother was nowhere in the picture. Sources say a meeting between William and Harry was never even on the table for this trip, despite Harry once saying, 3 years ago, that he hoped the two of them could someday find peace. Instead, Harry poured his energy into what he came for in the first place, marking 1 year until the Invictus Games returned to his homeland. Veterans surrounded him. The public reception, by most accounts, was warm. One armed forces figure told reporters that whatever his royal status, Harry remains, in his words, one of us. Asked directly whether his family was proud of him, Harry didn't dodge the question. "They don't tell me every day that they are proud of me," he said, "but yeah, I'm proud of them. They are proud of me. I love my family." Harry got his moment with his father. His children got a grandfather they barely remember. But the brother who once called him family still hasn't spoken to him. The institution that raised him still won't fund his protection. And the tabloids that shaped his entire adult life just won a case against him in open court. 1 year from now, the Invictus Games come to Birmingham for real. Charles will have to decide whether to show up. William will have to decide whether to show up. And Harry will have to decide, once and for all, whether coming home was ever really about the games at all.